Welcome all to the latest episode of Two Half Two Innings Football. Now, normally I have to have a bit of a fight with Arteta, who's hosting, but not tonight. He is literally bouncing up and down like a kid who's just had loads of E numbers. What are we going to do? Rohit, you've probably got half an hour.
Guys,
Go get some tea, get some rest, because tonight is just about MUTV.
I should
Come
just
on,
go off. I
United.
should just go off.
Okay, go on. Go on then. Blank yourself. Put your feet up.
I
So
just come
before
off
we
myself.
start and review, before we start and review match day, a shout out to our sponsors, Davis Optometrists. So for those of you who are looking to any special visual needs, so be it sports vision, IPL for dry eyes, or treatment for dry macular degeneration, please check the team out at Davis Optometrists, and the link will be in the comment section below. So OJ, go on then. I've kept you quiet for about a minute. You've posted an absolutely amazing video. You know, literally with all your raw emotion after the game. Go on then. The floor space is yours, young man.
I think I will serenade my fellow co-hosts with a song, if you don't mind. A Wimberway, a Wimberway, a Wimberway, a Wimberway. In the Anfield, the mighty Anfield, Salah sleeps tonight. A Wimberway, a Wimberway. In Anfield, the mighty Anfield, Konate sleeps tonight. You know why? A win away, 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 a win away. 2 wins on the trot. Man United. Come on. Oh my God.
Oh
Guys,
my god.
guys,
Ajay, this is
yeah.
after how many years? After 9 years, you won against Liverpool at Anfield. Is it
10,
after
10
9 years?
years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
10 years.
10,
There you go.
Nine, nine, nine.
Wow.
I think it is 9
nine,
actually.
nine
Yeah.
slash 10.
Yeah.
So when Wayne Rooney scored in the reign of Van Gaal, I think that was the last time that we won at Anfield. And honestly, this one was just a sweet victory. I mean, I was there at Old Trafford when United got hammered 5-0. I even took my Sally to that game, and oh my God, I had to leave at half time. It was terrible. She was like, "Ajay, don't put me through this torture." So going to Anfield or even just playing Liverpool, and like our co-host Dheeraj, he actually was at the game, so hopefully, bro, you gave the podcast a shout out. But I'm sure he's crying. He's crying at the 305. He's crying at the cop end. Four losses on the row. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe United are the ones to deliver that fourth loss. What an absolute fantastic game. And we'll dwell into the game more, but just in terms of pure emotion, I was so happy. My heart was on a steady speed of like 120 BPM. Honestly, I was so nervous throughout the whole game. But when we scored in the first few minutes, I thought, what's happened here? This is perfect. This is fantastic. And then we went on. I think we let Liverpool come back into the game a little bit, and it was a bit nervy. But then when Maguire got that second goal, I made my little kid cry. I was screaming. I was
I heard.
jumping.
I'm hearing set piece winner, set piece winner. Where is it coming from? I'm hearing something, guys. Set piece winner.
Don't get too excited. We're coming to that later on. You can't
No,
pipe
I'm
down,
I'm
young
just
man.
hearing.
Pipe down, bro.
United fans are saying were telling me there was set piece FC, set piece FC, and now I'm hearing some set piece goal winner, and then oh my god,
Well,
No,
I
don't
will
worry.
say
We're
on the
coming to that later on.
technicalities, it wasn't. Yeah,
it
I would
still
just say it
came from
wasn't
the
a
corner.
direct
Still
set
came from the
piece.
corner. Yeah,
It
yeah,
came over Ghana. Yeah,
yeah.
fair enough.
But I mean, what a start though,
But
Ajay. Come on, let's quickly dissect the game. So, do you think? I mean, there's a bit of Liverpool fans or even the Liverpool team actually thinking that it was a foul, that led to the goal. I mean it was a clash between Van Dijk, Mbemo, and McAllister, wasn't it?
McAllister.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
I I
the,
felt
the,
there's a
the,
clash of the
the,
Liverpool players actually.
well, it was, if you looked on it in slow mo in different angles, it looked like it was Van Dijk's elbow that went into the back of McAllister's trailing back
Yeah,
of his head. So,
yeah,
the thing is, listen, I thought when Michael Oliver was going to be refereeing this game to begin with, I thought he would give United no decisions, and I'm actually pleasantly
yeah.
surprised he actually let the game go quite well. So fair
He
play to
did. Yeah,
Michael
yeah,
Oliver.
yeah.
He actually, made some. He wasn't the talking point of the game. I'm happy, he gave a few yellow cards to Ahmad and to Casemiro, and I thought, bloody hell, get these guys off the pitch. And luckily, Amarin was listening, took Ahmad off and took Casemiro off, because otherwise we would have really struggled if we were 10 men. But the rules of concussion, the rules of head injury, I mean, it swings. It's two sixes, half a dozen the other. If that was Liverpool and Maguire smacked into Casemiro, but then Isak went on to score a goal, they would be fuming as well. if that was called off.
Yeah,
You know,
I
they would
mean,
be
it's
like, well,
insane. Yeah, it's insane.
that's your own defender
There,
hitting your own player. What's that got to do with the opposing player? I mean, it was Mbeumo, who's only like 5'6", going up against Van
Yeah, but
Dijk.
remember, it's about
So
concussion, though, isn't
McAllister,
it? It's not about the foul. OJ, it's about the concussion situation, isn't it?
it
Not the
is, but
foul.
then
I mean, maybe
players
the
I think
players
I
are
think it was
taking
because it was in the
advantage
middle of
of
the
it.
pitch.
Like players are taking
Yeah,
advantage.
that's
Like
it.
yesterday's game, I want to talk about that as well in my when I get my turn, whenever that happens. But
It's not
tonight,
happened for
but
you today.
if it
yeah,
happens,
if it
remember
happens,
it.
whenever, if it happens, that's what I'm saying. I want to talk about that. We were through goal. We were like in advantage position, and the referee blew the whistle because play was. I mean, anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, what a pass
the
by Ahmad and what a finish! I mean, absolutely amazing. I mean, it's always great to score first, away, and especially at a ground like Anfield. And I say, kind of Liverpool haven't been in the best of form. Obviously, you alluded to that a moment ago, OJ, that it's the fourth game in a row they've lost, and the first time they've done that since 2014, I think. So it's been a long, long time. But they took the chance, and I always feel a little bit nervous that there's still another 88. Well, nowadays with Stockish
oh,
time, God knows how long. But
Yeah,
officially, there's another 88 minutes of the game to go there, and knowing kind of how United have been recently, it didn't inspire me with confidence. But I thought they played well. I mean, you'd expect Liverpool, the home team, with the Anfield, the famous Anfield crowd, to kind of really G the team up. But I didn't feel that. I felt they were going to score, as in Liverpool were going to score. So when they did score, I wasn't surprised. But I didn't feel that we were going to get battered. And for me, that was the most important thing. And again, Rohit, when we had the last podcast, I was gonna be cautious and say a draw. And hopefully, me being cautious seems to be the trick, because every time I have been, we seem to have won. So that I'll
you're
be
gonna
doing
be
that for the rest
cautious
of the
every
season
time.
now.
Yeah,
I'm going to
that's
do
your
that for the rest of the
recipe.
season. Yeah.
Yeah, but
But I
I
mean,
think what
United hit the post a couple of times as well, didn't they? They hit
in
the
Liverpool
woodwork.
hit like
I
4 or 5
think
times
Bruno.
as well. Liverpool hit 4 or 5 times
Yeah,
as
and
well. Now,
United. So.
yeah.
But I mean, I was really impressed by the goalie again, and I know I put a little message on our group chat. There was one incident where, towards the end of the game, where he was kind of falling back and he caught the ball, and I said, if that was an honor, that would that would have gone in.
yeah.
So, but he seems to have a nice commanding presence. He wasn't unfazed by this is his second game for United, at Anfield, and it's a team, regardless of whether they're on form or not, it is a team of the champions, and that crowd is a very hostile crowd. It's a northwest derby, so there is going to be
Definitely.
extra added hostility. So I was really impressed with his performance as well today.
I mean, listen, are you Schmeichel in disguise? That's all we're gonna say about Sen Men's. Like honestly, it's so nice to see. A lot of United fans are saying like now goalkeepering is like the position we're not worried about now. We've got a great young keeper who seems to look fearless, and like you said, I think you know what when I was watching the game. It was just some of the basic stuff that he was doing, which actually pleased me a lot. Which was we didn't actually play out from the back. Usually, Anana would feed it to the wing back or the centre back. He just hoofed it. He just kicked it because you know what the pattern of play was? It was hoof it up to Van Dijk. He would header the ball into an empty midfield, sorry, I wouldn't say empty midfield, but into an area where United would pick up that second ball. And it would be Bruno swinging it out to Ahmad, into Mbeumo. And there was actually really good link up play. So United were actually winning the second headers or the second balls quite a lot in midfield. And then vice versa, when their keeper kicked it to Maguire, or like if Maguire was heading it, then Liverpool would actually get possession in the midfield and then start their transition. So it was a very interesting game. I mean, we talk about tactics with formation with Amarin with 3-4-3 and Paddy Power. That 3-4-3 bus can go all the way around Anfield and Liverpool today if you want it to, mate, because that was serving up some good on time result. But like I said, tactics and formation, I think that just went out the sink, thrown out the kitchen sink today. It was just about players actually doing their role. Mason Mount, press machine at the top, Cunha and Mbeumo showing the best of Wolves and best of Brentford in that game today. They were playing absolutely fantastic. Even Bruno covered like every inch of grass. He probably ran more than Florian Wirtz. Which honestly, he was doing laps. And I thought the defence, Maguire, we've given Maguire a lot of stick in the years. We've seen some dark times, and and you know what? I will actually say hand on heart, I've given a lot of stick to Harry Maguire, but he deserves so much praise. The amount of like scrutiny he's had from the English press, even with Team England, and then the fact that he's come back and he's showing what, like even last season in the Europa League against Lyon, he header heading capabilities of this player, fantastic. He's
What
got
is
more
going
goals
on
than
here,
Florenberg,
Ajay? What is going
more
on
goals
here?
than Isak in the
What is
Premier League.
going on here? It's just one game,
No, but
guys. Calm
do you know
down.
what?
Calm down.
No, but you're
Emotion,
right. It is one
emotion.
game, but you remember one thing. We haven't had much to shout out
No,
about
I'm just
since
teasing you guys. Enjoy it.
since
Enjoy
around.
it.
But
It's our benefit as well.
but the thing about
You guys
Yeah.
enjoy it.
yeah, but the thing about Harry though, what I think I would say about him, what's been the most admirable thing about Harry for me is the way he's conducted himself despite all the
Yeah.
abuse and everything. And I'll say I think he's turned the corner. He's turned the corner, I would say, in his performance since Amrin's been part of the setup. He was getting pillared. There was talks of him, selling him for free just to save his, or let him go for free just to save his salary, etc. Kind of towards the end of Ten Hag's second season. So and
Yeah.
what a goal! I think it was justice because if you remember last season, AJ, when we drew at Liverpool,
Yeah, he missed a
2-2,
sitter. Yeah,
last minute,
yeah,
he had a
yeah.
last, well, not even a minute, last second.
I remember
last
that.
second
Yeah.
chance
Yes,
to kind of win the game, and he went.
Yeah.
I can't remember whether he headed it over or
No,
went straight to
he
the
hit it
keeper. But I
over.
mean, he
I
should
think
have
he hit it
scored.
over. Yeah,
So,
Right
yeah.
foot shot. Yeah,
I did hit it
skied it.
over. Yeah. So it's like it's kind of like a year on. He's finally got what he should have done a year. As I said, 12 months ago or whatever, 12 months or so ago. But great performance. But I think the interesting thing is Liverpool. I mean, what's going on? I mean, they've got. I mean, the reason why I didn't feel totally confident that we will see it through is because they've got a lot of talented individuals. Anyone can bring on Wirtz, Etikite on. That says a lot. But they're not gelling, are they, as a team? And they're just the defensive frailties are just showing. I think they are the team that have conceded more than 2 goals the most so far. I think it's 8 times over the past 12 games.
Oh,
So that's obviously
really?
stemming back from
Wow.
so that's stemming back from the end of last season as well. But
Wow.
no one else has conceded more than 2 goals in as many games. So that is showing the defensive frailties. And again, I think we know that because that's why they wanted Mark Gahey, but obviously they invested in the players that they did so. But it's really interesting, really interesting. Go on, Roy. What's your take as a neutral?
Yeah, I think it was a good game. I didn't watch it because I was driving, but I was hearing on Talk Sport, and it was quite open game, to be honest, what I was hearing. And then obviously I've heard Gakpo hit the bar, hit the post, missed another chance, a header, a sitter, right, to win the game. If they have taken their chances, the game would have been like 5-2 or something, right, 5-1 or something. But also they didn't take the chances. This is the luck I'm talking about when I talk about the luck every podcast, guys. To win the leagues, you need a little bit of luck. And this is where the luck comes in, right? He could have scored all those goals last year. And Liverpool could have won 5-1 or something. Because, what I believe is scoring right at the start, 63 seconds. That's the fastest goal this season so far. I thought, okay, that's good. But like you said, Amit, 88 minutes left, 89 minutes. Plus, the 8 minutes they added in the second half, I don't know where they came from. Even the commentators I was hearing while driving, they're saying, where those 8 minutes came from? Then I realized, United are playing Liverpool at home.
Liverpool.
So obviously it's coming from
PGMOL trying to save Liverpool. But I'll weigh in a little bit on this. I think the thing is when we talk about Liverpool now, so United, for how well I think they organised, but there was a lot of luck. But I think in the first 25 minutes, Fernandes had that opportunity, Cunha had an opportunity, even Mount had an opportunity where there was a spill from Mamadovich. Sorry, I can't pronounce his name. Sorry about that. But again, this was a show of 2 new keepers. I think if Alisson was playing, it may have been different. I think he would have saved that goal from Mbeumo. But again, this is what you kind of look at. I think, again, we're going to talk about Salah very quickly as well. But for Liverpool, it was just a case of basketball, kind of football all over again. It was just defender hoofing it up. They had a lot of possession. They had 63% possession, and I think when you're attacking, when you're an opposition team now against Liverpool, I think what they realised is they need to defend in 2 flanks of 5, have 5 at the back, 5 in the midfield, and let Konate have the ball, let him dictate play, because most of the time he'll just try and feed it forward. But you've got man-to-man marking, and I think that's what Liverpool have struggled with, is 5 at the back, trying to attack that team. Like with Crystal Palace, they have 5 at the back as well. So Slot has to work out how to kind of, really expand the pitch. I think they play quite narrow, unless they do kind of, where it's Kirkes. Robertson back in the days used to feed Salah with crossfield balls, and then Trent would feed Luis Diaz or the left winger with great diagonals and expand the pitch, but they were playing very in the middle, I think, throughout this game a lot. And Salah had an opportunity, great 2 chances, and just didn't take them. And again, he's showing his age. Is he running out of legs? Kind of focus. Is he kind of thinking, I don't need to perform? And I said this at the beginning. I said Salah is going to be dropping in form, and it will have a massive impact. Just because you've got 400-500 million pound signings, you need that star player. Who's your star player? If he's not on form, it'll affect the rest of the team, and I think it has done. And I will say that with Liverpool, they could lose another game because their defense looks shaky. Konate is on the field, but his head's in Madrid. He's not focused, and Van Dijk can't cover all the space. Kerkez is a liability if there's space in behind him, and they don't know who their best right back is. Is it Szoboszlai or is it Frimpong? And you signed a player for that position, but they're really missing Trent. And I've said it again. I said it on the last podcast. They didn't. I don't think they needed to have got a number 9 like Isak. They had Etikite, who's I think a better player at the moment. But obviously with Isak, he might start firing soon. But I think at this current moment in time, Slot's got a real problem now with his selection and his starting 11. So like you said, Gakpo. I think Gakpo was probably the best player on the pitch, and he wasn't even a new signing. He was a Jurgen signing, and it was a Jurgen signing that got the goal. So I said it at the beginning as well. I said Slot's going to be found out for the manager he is this season. I don't think he got lucky last season. I'll say it because all the other teams were not performing well and had spurts where they weren't playing well. He won the league early, but no. It's straight up. I think
and injuries and PGMO.
He didn't have injuries. All he had to do was just tweak 1 or 2 tiny little things, which any GCSE manager could have probably done. And all he had to do was,
oh my god!
Ajay, man,
that's a big take, Ajay. That's a big take.
You look at last season though. Arsenal had like 8 games where they only had 1 win. So Man City had 10 games where they lost, and they won only 1 or 2 of them. You'd never get a Premier League season like you've seen in the last 6-7 years where 2 or 3 title contenders have flopped that badly. You might lose 1 or 2 games here and there, but out of 10, losing 6 or 7 or drawing 4 or 5 and only winning 1.
But I mean, you can only
last season only won against United.
That's like saying,
and then they had 7-8 games. So he had a very easy season, to be fair. And I said this time around, he's going to get found out this season about will he be a great manager. And retaining a title is always harder. But obviously, he's got a lot to think about, I think.
But that's the real test, right? That's the real test. We will find out how good Slot is now. We'll find out how good Slot is now. But I still think, guys.
On TalkSport, sorry, Roy. I'll just say on TalkSport, Liverpool fans are already asking for Slot to leave. For Slot to go.
Don't
really?
be ridiculous.
So you tell me that.
No,
they've been Liverpool fans. They said Slot has to go. So you tell me, people are not happy with.
They're probably United fans.
Well, actually,
was that fortune?
They're very quiet today because I'm with the King Group. I've got a football chat, and there's probably about 60 people on there. There's quite a few Liverpool fans, and I asked if anyone wanted to join us tonight, and then no one responded apart from a big shout to Kea, and he said, unfortunately, like the Liverpool strikers, I'm gone missing or something like that. I thought it was quite funny, but he took it. But it was quite a funny comment. But Kea, hopefully we're good to get you on one day.
Yeah, definitely. But looking at Gakpo's, right? I was when I go home, I put Sky Sports on, and they were talking about Gakpo's XG was better than whole United team's XG. So look, that's what Martin O'Neill said, right? What is this XG? No one cares about XG. What cares about is the score line. Arsenal, United won. That what matters. That's what matters, guys.
To be fair, I thought at the beginning of the season, Gakpo would not get a start on this starting 11.
Because of Isak and
with Isak and Salah. Then I'm surprised. I think like a lot of fans will say Gakpo's actually been one of their probably best players. The start of this season, he's performed quite consistently well, and he gave us a lot of trouble on that left wing flank. So fair play to him. He played really well.
I mean, I'll be honest. I said at the start of the season when we made predictions that if Liverpool, obviously we didn't know at that time if they were going to get Isak or not, but I thought if Liverpool got Isak, they were going to run away with the league. So I'm very surprised with how things have panned out. In fairness, Diraj did feel that if you're going to watch Liverpool are probably going to be the most entertaining team this year in terms of kind of their attack and the number of goals they're going to concede. So I think he felt that there was obviously defensive vulnerability there, but I'm still surprised about how the season's panned out for them. And maybe about Mo Salah, it's really what's going on there. I know you touched on it a moment ago, Ajay, but maybe him having Liverpool losing him to the African nations over the December, January, February, whenever it is, that may be a better blessing in disguise, because it may be a chance for them to recalibrate the team and try and kind of get their new signings, the front three of that they've got with Wirtz, Etikite, and Isak to gel together. So you don't know.
The thing is, it's a question of where does this manager look at now? Transitioning. Is it that cutthroat approach that we've talked about, even like in our cricket podcasts? Do you kind of just say, look, you're not delivering, you've been benched for 2-3 games. I need you to kind of get your head back into the game, and I need you out for a few games or on the bench, and then you, like you said, you can get that front three kind of gelling with Etikite, Isak, and maybe Gakpo. But I don't know. It's a really tough one because Mohamed Salah is a great player, like we've always said. But I just feel like he's gone missing this season,
Yes.
and I think some Liverpool fans would have said maybe we should have let him go last season. It was a perfect end. We won the title, and give that right wing slot to somebody else. But maybe he's just thinking like, look, I've got it cush. I've got 2 years left on my contract. I won it last season. It's not really going to be too much expected of me. I've got new signings that are bigger, and they're going to be more under scrutiny. So is he just playing under the radar, just ticking along? He might throw in a great performance, 1 or 2 games here and there, and then he might think, you know what, they'll sell me on, and I'll get a fee, and I'll just go to Saudi and play out the rest of my career there, or even go MLS. So we don't know. I just think that maybe Liverpool did too much business in one short window, and it's just unfortunately just like not cohesing. The cohesion's not there as what Slot would have liked. And I think other teams have just kind of found out that, look, they're going to have 5 attackers, just play the low block and hit them on the counter, and or if not, just dominate them from the beginning and run in behind their defenders. So it's an interesting one. I thought, like I said, it was a good game.
They were kind of 4-2-4 at one point, weren't they? When it was either before they scored the equaliser or after this.
Yeah, I think before.
So it was quite interesting.
Yeah, all four players were. Yeah. Because when they scored,
hasn't got much time to change things
win like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, so they haven't got much time to change things around either. They've got Frankfurt in the Champions League next week on either the Tuesday or Wednesday. So isn't that where Florian Wirtz came from?
No, he came for
by Leverkusen.
Who won the league?
Oh yeah. So was it Etikite who came from Frankfurt? Or have I got that totally wrong?
Don't know. I think he came.
Probably. We bought a lot. The Premier League have funded Bundesliga for the next 10 years, probably, with all the.
Anyway, who cares?
But
anyway, let's keep enjoying Liverpool. And Rohit, you must be super happy because there's a nice cushion now developing between Liverpool, Arsenal, and the teams below. So is it a 4-point cushion now?
It is. It is 3 points because City are second.
3 points.
City are second. So it's a tough season, guys. I do believe this year it's going to be a tough season because there's still only 8 games in. We're talking about who is the winner, but I still believe a lot of ups and downs are there. So we just need to keep calm, take a game as a game, win the next game, win the next game, win the next game. That's what the message is from Mikel as well. Talking about Arsenal.
Yeah, so, and talking about winning the next game. That's exactly what Mikel did,
exactly.
what your Arsenal did yesterday. So
exactly,
the Fulham versus Arsenal game. Go on then.
Tough game.
We've had enough on TV. Yeah, I thought it was a tough. I thought Fulham were very good.
We finished. Sorry, guys. I have one question for you guys.
We might come back. Yeah.
No. Let's finish MUTV. I've got a question for you guys. Now we know how important the next game is for Man United. If you don't win the next game, today's win doesn't matter then, right? Because as a United fan, you would like the team to build the momentum. Now, after a year, first time he won back-to-back games. So now the next game is the most important game. They don't have any Europa League. They don't have any Champions League. So the next game is very most important game of the season for United, I believe. Because so as Emery now, what he will be thinking now, Amit? What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's only 2 games, so it's not a lot. But if I was him, and I'm sure he's going to do the same. Let's pick out what's worked over the past 2 games. Because Sunderland were an informed team, and yes, Liverpool haven't been in form recently, but they still are the champions, and it's away to Anfield. So regardless, it's a game they should be proud of winning. I think the biggest thing that I would say from the last 2 games is I've seen heart. And that's what we're always asking for. You can't win every game, unfortunately. But what I saw as a United fan was I saw heart from the players and attitude in terms of they were trying, and that's what we ask for. And typically, if you do that, or if all 11 of your players are going to do that, you're more likely than not to get a positive result, and you take your chances. I was quite surprised that he didn't start with Sesko, but Mount justified his inclusion in the game, and it's good. He's showing a bit of flexibility there. Maybe he needs to be a little bit more flexible in other aspects of his management. But, it's 2 games. It is only 2 games. And as you rightly said there, Rohit, if we don't beat Brighton on next Saturday or next Sunday, then it's just back to square one, really. Now, how many times can we keep saying this result is going to change things? Because we've been saying that, since Amrin's been part of United. So, this is the big game that's going to change things, turn things around. And it hasn't happened. So, what we're asking for is that continued application from the players, the commitment, the desire, the positive working mindset, and then obviously, taking the chances and, just this, I suppose just following the coach's orders, really.
Yeah, and Brighton is a tough game as well. But we will talk about this in our next episode when we preview the Matchday 9.
Very quickly as well, because Roy, I know you only asked Amit that question, but what Amrin is definitely going to do, 2 things he's going to do. He's going to show £100 million to Belabor and say, look, you're going to join us next season, so play nicely. Then he's going to show Danny Welbeck some of the old videos of him beating Arsenal 8-2 when he scored that nice little chip and say, remember, Danny, you're one of ours, so don't show up against us. And that's how we're going to win against Brighton, guaranteed, okay? There we go.
Or he's going to show he played for Arsenal as well, right? And beat United.
Yeah. Oh my god, he loves. That's the thing. Danny loves scoring against us, but we'll talk about that.
But he does. He's good.
He's got a good bleeding record against us.
Yes, he has. Yeah, he has. But anyway, so I think next game will be most important for you guys. But
we try to get away from MUTV, and you've always back to it, so you can't blame us.
Let's go to
That's your fault.
We'll go to Arsenal. Ask AFTV now with featuring.
No. AFTV is it's not AFTV. It's not AFTV. Okay, it's our talk. Yeah, 2 halves, 2 innings football talk.
It's SPTV, set piece TV.
There you go, set piece. Another set piece. Oh, you know what? I was quite surprised when Slot came in his pre-match conference and said, oh yeah, number one team in number one place, they have 60% of their goals from set pieces. We only have 40%, or whatever he was talking about. I said, why are you talking about that? See, that's now when United score a goal from us. I do believe that's a set piece. I know it's technically probably not, but it'll be a set piece. But this is how you win the games. Sometimes, when nothing is going against, everything is going against you. You are not at, full playing well, because the first half, when I saw yesterday, we played the worst, I believe, in this season. There were misplaced passes. We were awful. Shocking. We were misplacing the passes. That could be international break effect, because Gabriel came in very late, from Brazil, and he played against Japan as well. As well. Yeah, so I'm thinking that might be an international break. But then second half, we took over, right? And then we played some beautiful football, and we scored from the corner, and that's what matters, guys. 1 goal, 1-0 to the Arsenal, and I was so happy that when we scored, I said, Arne Slot gonna come in now tomorrow, and then I'm gonna say, number one team scored 62% now from the set pieces. But guys, second half was good.
Yeah, I mean, actually, quickly talking, I'm going to bring it back to MUTV again. So I think allegedly the reason why Harry Maguire was picked ahead of Lenny Euro was because of his his attacking threat from set pieces.
Yes, of course, exactly.
And that choice, his selection, so Harry Maguire's selection was justified because he got the winner.
Exactly.
So it's. We joke about it, but at the end of the day, that's the strength for Arsenal. So it's not as if they're hiding it. It's up to the position coach to coach his team to be able to nullify that threat, and the teams aren't doing it.
Exactly, but they don't understand. You don't go and kick the ball out of the park and say it's a corner. You have to play attacking football
Yeah.
to get corners.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
that's the thing. They don't
yeah,
come from defensive; they come from attacking.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah,
this is why
I
people
wouldn't
don't
worry about it.
understand. You know, exactly. No, I'm loving it. You know, more and more people talk about. I don't care about set piece. Actually, they can call us whatever they want to call, but
but
winning
I do think
winning matters. Yeah.
I do think Fulham let you off a bit easy. I mean, you had
No,
two
I
of
think first
the
half they were pretty good.
Fulham
Yeah,
have
yeah.
two ex-Arsenal players in Iwobi
Yeah.
and Neil Smith as well. So maybe Arteta was being like, remember who you are. so yeah,
No,
but
it
I will
doesn't
give
happen
credit.
in
And
professional game.
the thing
Yeah,
is, I seem to be repeating myself every podcast. Is another clean sheet for Arsenal, and at the
yeah,
end of the
yeah,
day,
yeah.
if you ain't going to concede a goal, you're going to
Yeah.
draw or win the game,
But
aren't you? So all you have to do is
yeah,
just score one, and that's what they did. And
Yeah.
you know, I will give
exactly.
another credit
Yeah.
to again is
Yeah.
Trossard. Trossard
Yep.
is a fantastic player, and credit to Arteta for actually sticking him on the left wing and not having the likes of either Martinelli in or mixing up the formation. He trusted with Trossard as well. He obviously, like, what did he say? Like, they're the attackers from the bench, but obviously now he was an attacker in the first starting finishers in the starting 11, and he proved his worth on the back stick. And I think, like you said, no matter where the goal comes from, as long as you got it, you got the 3 points, you move on to the next game.
Exactly.
Once you build this routine now, I mean, obviously Arsenal have pretty much 4 or 5 wins now on the trot nearly. It's hard to kind of derail that unless some other great team beat you quite hands down. I think Arsenal are going to go on a tremendous run. To be fair, they've got quite a nice easy fixture. They've got quite some decent fixtures that might be very favourable.
But if you see, the fixtures are not easy. We playing Crystal Palace next. We're playing Atletico Madrid next on Tuesday, and then we're playing Crystal Palace. And those two fixtures are very, very tough fixtures. And Crystal Palace at home last year, we drew 2-2. Year before, I think we won all as well. So we didn't win. And then it's always a tough team to play, Palace. Palace are an amazing team at the moment.
I mean, luckily you're at home. So you're
luckily we're home. But then this is what I'm saying. Amit, go on.
So the other thing I was going to say about Trossard is actually he's the 10th different player to have scored for Arsenal so far this season. So again, you're spreading the workload very well, which I suppose at the moment is very important because Gyökeres hasn't scored for a month or so, has he? And I thought he was quite poor on. I know he's brought other element to the game, to Arsenal over the past few weeks, but I thought he was quite poor on yesterday. I don't know what you thought, Rohit.
Yeah, I think it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was poor. He didn't get any service. Basically, the whole team was poor the first half. This is why I think he still made 2-3 runs when our first shot on target was actually his shot. I think, if I remember correctly, in the first half, when he clear past the defender and then tried to hit it, but went straight to the goalie. But I think he brought different things into Arsenal. I haven't watched the match of the day review as well because they were talking about him, because they said Shearer said the goals will come because he's at the sometime right place. Yeah. He's bringing something different to Arsenal because he's right at the top, and then he's keeping the defenders busy there. And now you can see Saka yesterday. He was brilliant, Saka yesterday. And then, by the way, that penalty. What do you guys think? Was that a penalty? Because the penalty was given, and then it was
fair challenge.
The change. Do you think it was a challenge because he hit his knee first, then he got the ball?
I think it was a fair challenge. He got the ball. Yeah. You have to have these kind of tackles allowed in football and let the defender win sometimes, otherwise the game's gone. Like it was a good tackle. I think he got the ball first from the replays that I saw. But I think it was just outside the box anyway. Just to be fair, I think it was inside.
It was inside.
No, it was inside the box. I think that was the first thing they checked first.
Yeah, that's what they checked first. Yeah.
Outside or inside the box. Yeah.
But if that's the case, then some penalties they were given against us last year wouldn't have been penalties then, because Saliba got the ball first before he head towards Pedro. If you guys remember.
Let's forget about last year. Let's focus on this year.
No, I'm just going to say, I'm waiting for...
There's no point crying over spilt milk. Liverpool are the champions. Get over it. You've got a chance to do it this year, so let's focus on this year, okay?
No
Touch
chance.
wood.
Let's
This year, luck is
let's
touch wood. Yeah,
well,
but yeah,
I
but
mean, so it's been a great week for us both.
yeah,
So, as in for Manchester United and Arsenal. So, long may that continue, and long may Liverpool's demise continue. I think we're all reveling in that. But
Dheeraj
one thing I
will
would
won't be
like to
happy.
discuss before we wrap up, we won't be. I told you since he's been off, Liverpool have been awful. So he needs to come back, if not for our sake
We
or
do
his
actually,
sake, for Liverpool's sake.
and if there are any disgruntled Liverpool fans that have had any problem with what we've said today, please do join us on the podcast. It'd be great to get a viewpoint from the cop end to kind of see, you know what, can you guys make a little bit more out of what's happening behind closed doors with Arne Slot? So we would like to, if you can, please drop us a message or a private message, and we'd love to
Yeah,
have you guys on.
definitely.
Anybody, you know, it'd be fantastic, because what we can route our mouth and we can ramble on and on and on, but having somebody else actually with the Liverpool side, that would actually be quite interesting to see their point of view and what they take on these 4 losses.
Or any other team.
So yeah,
Or any other team, yeah. And
yeah.
talking about any of the teams quickly before we wrap up, I think this the story away from our clubs of the weekend was the sacking of Ange Postecoglou from by Nottingham Forest. I mean, 18 minutes after the defeat to Chelsea. I mean,
That was
but
strange.
when he joined, or when he was appointed the manager, I always felt, you know, he's a fiery bugger, and so is the is it
The owner.
Marinakis, who's the owner of
Mm,
Nottingham Forest? I mean, they're both fiery buggers, and I could I felt that this was going to be an explosion or a marriage made in hell, and I think it might have been Dealage actually. He felt that, you know, maybe the Greek fireness would have been pacified with the both of them, but it didn't last. I mean, eight games in a row over 5 weeks. You know, wow. I mean,
38
what a
days,
shocking
I
state
think it
of
was.
affairs for Nottingham Forest. Yeah,
I
5 weeks,
think
just over 5 weeks. Yeah, so crazy,
so. I think
absolutely
he's. I think
crazy.
technically, if you ignore Sam Allardyce from the Leeds, when he took over Leeds, because he was only there for a short temporary position anyway, and he knew that he just had to get Leeds to stay in the league.
Mm.
But that's probably the shortest manager tenure,
I think it was
and that's shocking.
Brian
That is,
Clough
you
as
know.
well,
I
isn't
think
it? Brian Clough had to Leeds as well. He
Yeah,
lasted
yeah,
only some 30 some days as
yeah,
well.
yeah. It's crazy though. I mean, what talk about an instant reaction, and what Ange had
crazy.
to say about the owner. I don't know whether or not this is true or whether it's AI, but he was like, you know, that guy needs to. I think he said something about like he's better off running a restaurant than a football club because he keeps on eating all the breakfasts and lunch, so there's none for the players. And I thought, oh my God, if he's actually said that, wow,
Mm.
what a leaving statement, what a mic drop moment
But I
to
mean, the thing is, though,
criticize
you
the
can't.
owner.
But it is a mic drop moment. But I think he needs to take a little bit of responsibility of that. I mean, you know what kind of owner, what kind of boss or leader you're going to be working for when you've seen his behavior, especially the way he spoke. You know, he treated Nuno. You know, he was telling him off. Remember last season on at the end of a game when they
I wouldn't
drew or
have
lost
taken the job
towards
if
the
it
end of
was
last
him.
season. Do you remember?
No chance.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say. And you know, I mean, if you look at Steven Gerrard, Steven Gerrard's been touted to be the next Glasgow Rangers manager, and he refused the job because of the one of the sporting directors, I think. So you know, respect to Steven Gerrard because, you know, he's understanding that, as you said all along, Roy. You mentioned it so many times that it's about the leadership from the top. That, you know, if you haven't got that. If your values aren't shared with kind of your direct line manager or the owner, you know, if you're not on the same page, it's not going to work. It's going to end in tears. So what's the bloody point? You know, you just, you know, unless you want to go as a manager for that, you know, because let's be honest, you know, Ange's going to get a nice payoff. You know, he signed a 2-year contract. He's been
That's
there
it.
for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Still
You
it.
know, I mean, I
He's
wouldn't
happy.
mind doing that. You know, I'll take that shit
I would
from,
have taken the job
you know,
now.
if I get, well, I'll take the job, but you know, I'm not a football manager, so you know, I'm happy to like slum me up for 5 weeks with a
Nottingham.
nice couple of £1 million in the bank.
I'll say if any of Nottingham Forest sporting directors listen to the show, please, we are free and available. We'll be more than happy to manage the team. I'm sure we can get
Jay,
them a few more points than
there is
5 points at the
will be
moment.
blacklisted. Remember, Gary Neville's already been blacklisted, so 2 halves, 2 innings football is going to be blacklisted as well now, probably from Nottingham Forest.
Oh, that's a big thing, Gary Neville. But yeah, I mean, that's a tricky one. But we'll leave that for another day.
Yeah. Right then.
That was a
Anyway,
spicy
lads,
one.
I think we've talked enough. It was a great weekend for football wise, anyway. So thanks for listening. Please do follow us, like us, share, subscribe, leave your comments. You know, we really look forward to kind of hearing what you or seeing what you type. And as I just alluded to, if there's any fans of any football clubs that'd like to join us as a guest, we will more than be happy to kind of get you on. So until the next time, over and out.